I
So
saw
thank you.
Philip declined the meeting this morning. I'm sure you're aware.
Yes, they let me know he was working quite late
No
today.
problem. No problem. Okay, so after the webinar, I will send you an email, and I think I sent you a few hyperlinks, but this is one of the links that you should review. It's the user permissions. So we'll go over them really quick today, but you can download the desktop and the mobile permission table here. It'll give you a really detailed overview of what each one of the system rules can do and edit and view in maxpanda. Now we do have an API as well. This is something not to start with right away, but once you get comfortable with the application, you're allowed to, you can connect to your maxpanda data. So using our API, you can push your data to any other application in the world that has an API. Even download your data to a Dropbox or Amazon server, etc. So ERP systems, financial systems, CRM systems, whatever you want to connect your data to, it's included into the subscription as well. I talked about the mobile a little bit, and I'll send you this link too. So the mobile is on App Store, Google Play. Now the mobile, I mentioned, maxpanda auto-generates QR codes for all of your assets. So if you're going to upload 500 forklifts with all the relevant information using our upload sheets, so it's zero cost to get set up because you're going to upload all your data immediately. And I presume you have most of it already on your Excel sheets. So maxpanda will create QR codes on an asset, on a location. So this could be Eric's office, and parts. Parts also get QR barcodes if you prefer barcodes rather than QR. So again, walking up to this asset here, this Ford F-150, I can scan it. I could create a work order against it, review work orders I've assigned to myself or I've been assigned to for completion. I manage parts, POs, everything. And more importantly, I can update the meter reading on that truck. So I can say the odometer now is at 55,000 kilometers. So every 5,000, it'll generate a work order, or depending on the trigger that I set up. Now, the iOS app does have GPS tracking as well. So people can generate a work order on a GPS location rather than a fixed address location. Any questions on the mobile?
Does it work offline also?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you just connect to Wi-Fi. Let's say we only have Wi-Fi in certain regions and signal in certain regions. Then you just connect. You receive all the work orders.
Yep.
Then you can go out of the Wi-Fi zone and do your work and come back.
That is correct. So your database is on Amazon. So obviously you need to be connected to the Wi-Fi or have a data plan. If you're disconnected out of region, you can still complete the work order, upload, change status. The mobile app has the exact database of your company's information as the desktop does. So once I can download I can download all my work orders on the iPhone, Android, manipulate them, complete them, upload attachments, do everything. Once I reach the Wi-Fi, Amazon will consume those work orders and update them to the cloud. And the final link is obviously the pricing model. So we do have 5 subscriptions and you're not tied to any one of them. We offer 0 setup costs, unlimited users. How many people will be using the application? Like,
it'll be 3 sites, one in each country, but then I would say probably 10 users per site.
Perfect. So I don't ask that because we don't have limitations, but a site in maxpanda is a separate database. So you're clear about what a site is, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a totally different database. A site holds unlimited buildings, locations, users, etc. There's no limitation in your database size. We charge our customers by how many work orders they create every month. Okay, so do you have an idea of how many work orders on average you're doing monthly?
Per site, I would say probably 10 a day. I'd say 300 a month.
So if so 3 sites, you're obviously doing more than 500 a month. So you're going to be an enterprise customer. This will give you 25 sites. So even if you have an IT department, they could create another site. So you do have 25 databases under one subscription. Is the pricing model feasible?
Yeah, it's quite expensive because now with the rand dollar exchange, it works out $1,000 a year. Hey, oh, that's per month. Hey, $1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is quite pricey. So.
Right, and right now this is there's a promo that we're offering right now, and it's till the end of the year. I will put it in the email, so if you guys do decide to come on board in January, this promotion is a free bump up to the next level. So what that means is, if you want to sign up for the professional, you'll be charged the professional plan, but we will bump you up to the enterprise plan at no cost. So
okay, yeah.
Don't look at the $999, look at the $499. So this promo is gone Friday night, but because you're probably my second last webinar this week, so I'll put that in the email as well, so we have it on record as well. And it's grandfathered pricing, so there's no other charges. You'll never be increased or decreased if you're on any one of these plans. Does I think that helps a little bit more, doesn't it? Have price.
That's fixed for a year, and then the next year it gets reevaluated, or
no, it's grandfathered. It'll be forever.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
As long as you don't cancel the account, you'll be on this plan here.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can pay monthly, or you can pay for the year, $499 times 12. So there's 2 options when you subscribe to maxpanda.
Okay.
Any other questions on the pricing model?
No, not on the pricing. On the system.
Yeah, we'll go in there right now. I'm going to log into the desktop application today. Your email becomes your username for the desktop and the mobile. We do have SSO as well, login. I'm going to log in with my email. I don't have Office 365 on this computer. Here's an overview of what we're going to cover today. We will cover site management, role management. We will look at the 3 different dashboards available to you. We will then create a work order. We will review preventive maintenance as well as tasks. Tasks are your digital checklists that you want people to complete on their phones or print or desktop. Then we will run a report. That will give you a good overview of the entire of your immediate needs. We can go into inventory and purchase orders and other modules if you like, such as direct issue and things like that. But I think that'll be a lot of information for once. Now, before I start, I want to go into this asset management piece here to show you that there is metering types to set up. So if I'm gonna edit one piece of equipment, and we're gonna work on this pump today. It does have a PM on it, and it does have a meter running on it. So one location or one asset has 7, 8 accordions of data that you can capture. Okay, this is permanent data here. The first is the details of the asset. So whether this is a mobile asset like a truck, in this case, it is not a mobile. It is fixed, so it's at a building and it's assigned to myself. Add any type of hyperlink or physical file to it, digital file. All information relative to the asset. We have an asset audit, meaning who's touching it, who's completing work orders against it. So you got full history here. Life cycle analysis. This asset, this pump is losing $8 or 8 Rand every month in depreciation. I pre-assigned 3 parts from my inventory. I have a large inventory here. I want these 3 parts to automatically be assigned to the work order, so my staff know what parts to get from the warehouse. So they'll always be assigned to every work order PM meter regarding this asset. Now the meter is a cycle right now, And my trigger, I believe it's 1,000. And again, I can have a PM that assigned to the meter. So if I walk up to the machine, scan the QR code, which is this one here. This is the pump's QR code. You can print them individually or mass print. I'll show you that in a minute. I walk up to it, I scan it, I update the meter, 90. Your trigger could be 80, or sorry, every 80 cycles. So it'll obviously trigger a new work order, and it's called a metering type work order, and it'll have this PM template assigned to it. Template PMs obviously have tasks assigned to them as well. These are the attachments you're going to see in the work order today. We have a floor plan that shows us where this pump is situated on the first floor or in the plant. We have the O&M manual, movie file, and a YouTube video of how to repair this pump. We looked at the QR code. There's web links there. That's the YouTube video and warranty information. Web links are attached to everything in maxpanda, even private internal documentation. So at the task level, you can have your staff updating your documents on your servers rather than another website, right? And we also have downtime. So if this machine is down, it will be recorded and who started the downtime, et cetera, et cetera. This asset has never been down before. Now, if I go to my view all asset page, using the checkboxes for the first 50 activates the QR code module. Now you can download your data anytime. That's throughout the entire application. You can download it and then upload more data using the same sheet. Okay, so if you want to alter these train HVAC units and change their asset tags, you can simply download the data and then upload it again. You're in charge of your data. Clicking the download QR code, if you tag your assets, you can have the tag, the location, and the date that they were created, printed on the QR code. You can buy this Avery label stickers, download the PDF, and print them in-house. So it doesn't cost you anything other than the labels. Do you have any questions on that process?
No, this is all great so far.
Excellent. All right, so let's begin the overview here. Okay, site management. You said you had 3 sites, but in the enterprise account that you're going to have, you'll have 25 or you can have up to 25 databases. So today we're going to work in the maxpanda headquarters site. As an example, I am going to stay as the company admin, which is your role. That's the top role, has access to everything here. That means I have access to all the company information. So I can go to New York as an example. These are different work orders. Obviously different buildings, assets, locations, users, etc. Okay, let's go back to the main office here. This one has all the bulk of my work orders and PMs and assets, so we'll stay there. So you can change your sites by the drop down, or you can click company wide list here, which will let you filter which site you want to look at. Right now I'm looking at most of them, but if I wanted New York and maxpanda only, so I'm dealing with 24 work orders. Obviously there's more because if you click status, I'm only showing these 2 statuses. So these are permanent settings here. So if I wanted to see completed, in progress, on hold, now I've got 115 work orders on this list. These are site-wide, right, for the entire site. We'll just stay in one site right now. System roles. Company admin has access to every site, has access to the entire menu, but only you, the company admin, can go in this tab here. You can upgrade, downgrade your plan, customize the emails that are sent out by Amazon through maxpanda. There is 3 pages of preferences. So again, you can customize the views for the entire maxpanda experience. I like to show a lot of information. So customers don't, Eric doesn't say, how come I don't see the reference ID on the list view, right? In the work order, there's a lot of optimizations here, and in the comment sections, there's a lot of changes. Now, only the company admin can go in here, but more importantly, only you can set up the company data here. So asset types, location types. Your asset types are going to be different than a school's or a manufacturing plant. Maybe not, but I'm sure asset categories are different. You could customize the work order labels in maxpanda. So when people submit work orders, these are the default text, but I can change them. And I can also make certain ones required. So I'm going to get rid of, actually, I'll say we want buildings and locations and assets to be required fields in the forms. Okay, so the next level down is your company editor. They can do everything in the menu except no access to the company tab there. A site admin and a site editor mimic those top roles, but they're only allowed to be assigned to a single or multiple site. So because you're going to have 3 sites, let's just look at the top 3 here. You can assign Steve a site admin, which is the top role in a single site. So I could be the boss in the Audi plant, but I wouldn't have access to any other site whatsoever. You can mix and match permissions. So I can be the site admin in Audi plant, but in New York, I can be a view only role. So a view only role cannot submit work orders, they can't edit any details in the work order. They can only see view grayed out details of the work order. Now your maintenance roles, we have supervisors and staff. These are internal staff members. What's the difference? Your staff, the staff unlimited can see the list view, meaning they have access to the new pending work orders. These are work orders that have been submitted by a staff personnel or anyone that works for you in your organization. So as a staff personnel, I can actually assign myself to this work order here or this one here. I can assign myself to it. I can approve it, but a staff can only complete the work order. Okay, so like Jody here, Roberts, she completed this work order. The supervisor, which is the next level up, supervisor, editor, admins are the top 3 roles that can close work orders. So when you close a work order from maxpanda, it'll disappear from the list view, from your map, and from your calendar. But it is permanently stored under closed work order section there. Now we have submitters. These are general office staff. If I logged in as a submitter, I'll show you the menu has shrunk considerably. So as an office personnel or accounting department, all I can do is submit work order requests. And you'll notice these ones I've submitted and no one's approved them yet. So I have full communication. I can edit the work order and type in here. I can type in the notes section and I can say, Eric, why aren't you guys changing the pool filter? I submitted this in June of 2021. So everyone has a database called My Work Orders of what work orders they've submitted. That is a submitter, which is similar to the tenant role. Do you folks use contractors or vendors for items?
Yes, quite a lot.
Good. So the vendor limited role is a contractor that you're going to assign work orders to my to-do list. So my to-do list is the list that is offline as well on the mobile. So these work orders have been assigned to me, 6 of them, and obviously they're overdue because it's a test account. My to-do list, so I'm responsible for these, and I can actually select all of them and make them offline on the mobile because I know I'm going to be out in the field, and then I can complete them while I'm in the field. I reach Wi-Fi and Amazon will consume the work order. So, but you'll notice I cannot submit work orders in your account. That is only the vendor unlimited role. This company, we do allow them to submit work orders. So if a company is on site, they need to fix a plugged sink here. They notice another issue. Why not let them create a work order, take picture of the problem. You can approve it and they can complete both work orders on the same day. Then and they can invoice you accordingly. So we do have sign off on the iPad or on the mobile. And they can also manage purchase orders for vendors. Do you have any high-level questions on the roles in maxpanda or the site before I move forward?
No, all good.
All good, right on. All right, list view. This is where you're going to enter in, and it'll be one of your desired or your favorite domain sites here. So you'll have 3, and then it'll take you to number 1 there. Using on the list view, again, if I click status, I'm showing 125 work orders. That's because I'm not showing I don't like to load canceled and overdue. If I did that, now I have 2,200 over 2,000 work orders on this list, right? So you do have a overdue list here, so you don't need to load them here. And if you cancel or reject a work order, why are you loading it? So we're just going to work with these 3 statuses today. Let's go there. We'll work with those 3 statuses. So I have 100 work orders right now created in this site here so far. Now, this search bar is in every list in maxpanda. Again, the columns are customized. I like to show all columns here. From the list view, you can use the checkboxes to multi-print all 10 of them in a single click. You can download them in a CSV file or run a quick status report. You can multi-change the status. So I can complete or I can reject all 10 of these in a single click. I can also assign them to a vendor like Acme Electric and an internal maintenance personnel, or as many as I want, in a single click. So a lot of optimization right from the list view here. And the search bar will search your Amazon database. So right now I've got 100 work orders. I want to know what one of my maintenance staff is up to. Steve's assigned to 20 of them. And a lot of them are completed. So again, I can use the multi-status option here, and I can close all 10 in a single click. This one won't get closed though, so I have to open that one up. This one is offline. This one is stuck on Steve's phone, so no one can edit it, except the company admin can bring it back online again. Maybe Steve lost his phone, so we don't want it locked on that lost phone there. So this one I won't be able to close, and that I won't be able to close. So now I can close all Steve's 7 work orders here. We'll get rid of Steve, and again, we'll go back to all work orders. That's the list view. The map view, I don't know if you're going to use the map view. Do you like to find like your assets with GPS? Like, are you tracking where your staff are, your vendors, and your assets?
No, they site specific, so they specific site.
So the map view is more for construction companies. They have assets, moving from site to site. So we'll show you where the work orders are at all times. This is a asset work order, but if I assigned a piece of equipment to me, there's my Ford F-150 right now. And there's a work order on it. That's why the marker comes up. Again, I don't think you'll use the map view, but the calendar is also on the mobile app. On the desktop, it will ask you if you want to look at your future PMs, your meter readings, your work orders, or your active PMs. You can search by location, staff, vendor, etc. I'm not going to filter, I'll just activate it. So this is my world in December. Obviously, a lot of overdue work orders. So 2 benefits to the calendar in maxpanda. Number 1 is it'll show you the blue work orders. These are future PMs that will trigger. So this one here is an actual every 2-week filter change. It's a 24-hour work order. You can extend the time, but more importantly, you can drag and drop it. Maybe you don't have staff available New Year's Eve, so you can move this one to next Tuesday. It's not going to change the PM schedule. It'll only change that occurrence for that work order individually. So we have drag and drop on the monthly, weekly, daily view, and the ability to see what's coming up in your world in this month or next month, because you can go back in time, forward in time. Any questions on those 3 different dashboards?
Can the work orders be floating? Let's say like the pump filter, the pool filter, every 2 weeks. Let's say you're 2 days late. Does the next service also move out 2 days?
That's a great question. Yeah, and we do have dynamic PM scheduling. I'll show you that when we hit the PM library.
Okay.
Okay. So let's create a work order right now. This will take about 10, 15 minutes, but theoretically it should take 30 seconds on your phone, right? So I'm going to submit a work order, and we'll just do a Someone noticed an issue with the pump today that we looked at in our asset list. So pump is making noise. Please check. Good thing for spell check. So you can customize the labels in all the work order submission forms on the guest portal and the built-in ones and on the mobile. You can force people to fill out certain fields, and you can hide certain fields, okay? I think I've hidden a couple fields, but not all of them. Work order title is very important. This text that I just wrote up, so I'm just one of the general workers or staff. I hear it making some noise. This is going to become the hyperlink that Eric is going to receive. So Eric, you know the problem just by getting that email. It's also the push notification on the mobile. So you're going if you have an Apple phone or tablet or Android, you're going to get a pop-up and it'll say pumps making noise. If you click the push notification or the email link, it'll take you right to the work order for you to approve or reject it. A reference ID is an open field. You can capture GL codes, system codes, whatever codes you want. I have no codes right now. Category, again, all drop-downs are pre-populated for you, so you can generate a work order like right after this demo, but you can also customize it. These are very important because in a year from now, instead of selecting all your HVAC units or all of your plumbing assets, you can run a plumbing cost analysis or schedule a plumbing report, right? By different categories. So it is a plumbing issue. I need to tell you when I want this due by. Everyone in the planet is always going to say immediately. So I'm going to pick one day. I'll copy paste to move things forward. I can continuously, the submitter, which is Steve, keep on adding forever. Notes and comments are the email trigger that go back and forth. So total communication is happening through the work order by email and push notification. You can carbon copy somebody outside of the organization, like a vendor that doesn't want to use our mobile app, but they just want an email. That's only notifying them, not assigning them to the work order. User email, this is a list of everyone that works at maxpanda. So again, I'm not assigning them. I'm just notifying Amber that something's coming, a new work order is coming down the pipeline. Now I am being forced to select building location asset. So the building, when you select a building, it will filter all locations. I'll select that location because I know the pump is at this station here, pump station. And these are the assets in that location. I'm going to pick the pump here. So there is a little icon so people know that they picked the pump and not a house or a forklift. I can take a picture right now on the mobile or desktop. I can add a PDF, Office doc, even a movie or audio file. So in fact, Eric, I could have dictated this on the mobile, everything. If I scan the QR code, all of this would have been pre-populated already. So on the mobile, we aim to have people in and out of our mobile app within 15 seconds. I'll submit the work order without uploading anything. And two things are occurring right now. One, we obviously have a new work order, but let's start from the top. So forget about Steve, the submitter now. Eric, I'll be you. So you just received an email and a push alert with that text. You have a new pending request on your desktop and mobile. So you don't need to be on the desktop, obviously. Desktop is for setup purposes only. And then everyone, 99.9% of the people should be on the mobile. So we know there's a new work order, pumps making noise. This is not a work order. It is a pending request. So let's go ahead and Eric will either approve or reject it. So if you reject it, it disappears. Pop-up notes, you can put pop-up notes while you're rejecting it. And by the way, any pop-up notes or pop-up comments will stay in the status history where no one in the world can change. This is part of our FedRAMP HIPAA compliancy, whether the work order was online or offline, okay? We're not gonna reject it today, we will approve it. So let's review. Pumps making noise. Steve said it is a plumbing issue, great. Now, you and I know this isn't going to be completed in a day because that'll make it overdue. We're going to downgrade it to 7 days. Okay, we're going to give our staff and vendor a week to complete the work order. That's what Steve can put in. This is where the maintenance staff can put in any comments. This will go back to Steve. That's the communication portal, notes and comments. If you don't want Steve to know anything, you can put it to private notes. That's only for the maintenance department, maintenance and operations. We know it was Steve, that's his cell number. Let's see, you don't have to touch this stuff here. maxpanda will timestamp everything from the status button. So a click of a button, everything's timestamped. We know it was Steve, there's his username. Now, we know where the problem is. We know what asset it is. And we're going now, Eric is going to assign this to a vendor. The red ones are preferred vendors for that specific building. Maybe it's a private building, but I'm going to assign Acme Electric and the plumber, which I don't have any information. 2 vendors will be assigned to this work order. The next tab is your task module. So if I add a new task, these tasks, I have 34 of them. Tasks can be shared site-wide, same with your PM templates. So everyone in maxpanda HQ, if they develop a task or a PM template, the other 2 sites will be able to import them in. That will save you time, manpower, as well as standardized operations across multiple sites. So because it's the CRN pump we're talking about, I do have a manufacturer checklist. I'm going to add that one to it. This is what the list looks like. I wrote this thing up 10 years ago. So we can capture comments on the task level. All tasks must be completed and data saved before the work order can be completed or closed by anyone, even Eric. The task can be assigned to any internal staff and a different vendor. So think of task almost like a project within a project. Capture files or hyperlink or external documents to be updated. So you can attach files, pictures, whatever. This is what the task requires. So the type of details that you can develop in a single checklist are checkboxes. You can collect numbers, letters, dates with time, and range value. So in this case, there's a pressure test. And Eric, you set up a 100 to 150. So Gary has to put in some kind of number here. If he puts in 122, everything is great in the world. No problem, he completes the task. But what if he puts in 167? Now he can still complete the task, but you will receive an email and a link right to this failed test here, okay? So we're gonna get rid of the task, so just to speed things up. Remember those
on that checklist, can you also make it compulsory for a person to take a picture on the app?
Yes, I didn't make it compulsory, but every item that you upload, you can make that task required or not. Remember the red stars?
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So part management here, remember the 3 parts that I assigned to the asset? Here they are automatically. So I know what to take with me to go and fix and repair the issue. Only the admins see the price per part, but everyone sees on hand. So here I have 700 of these filters. You can set up a minimum part notification, let's say 700. And so at 700, as we consume parts, it'll trigger an email and it'll send it to you. You can create a PO within that email, or you can come back here and create a PO at any time. Staff, I'm going to assign a few members of internal staff members to the work order. Let's say Jack, Amber, and Maxwell. Again, only the admin sees the hourly rate. On the mobile or desktop, they'll put in their hours and minutes worked, but we also have tool time. So the tool time is a stop clock, start and stop clock. So Maxwell might have taken 30 minutes to actually repair the pump, but he had to go purchase parts or find a manual. Travel time could have been 3 hours total. We'll do that later. Invoice, we don't have a vendor invoice yet. They're going to invoice us later. No one has uploaded any pictures into the work order. And under company attachments, this is what Eric set up. That location, we have a floor plan, so we know where the pump is installed. We have an aerial, but more importantly, you have a Google map that will help people find the actual building or pump itself. The asset has an O&M manual, a YouTube video of how to repair it from the manufacturer, and the parts also have attachments. So these documents will appear on every work order that location or the asset or the parts were assigned to. Okay, so I know I went into a lot of detail, but all you really had to do on the mobile is downgrade the time, assign a personnel, or let your own staff assign themselves to the work order and click approve work order. Now it is becoming an actual work order, which counts part of your monthly count. And two things happened. One, everyone received an email, a push alert on their phones, tablets. Steve received an email saying, great news, work order 2 million has been approved. So Steve is a happy camper. And now we have a new approved work order with a due date of 7 days. So let's go ahead and open it up. And because I am the administrator, I can close the work order and I can cancel the work order. Those two options are hidden from staff and vendor. Their job is to complete the work order, but they can put it on hold because they had to order parts from out of state or country or province. Parts won't arrive within 7 days, so they'll put it on hold and they can tell you why. And part arrives, they put it back to in progress, and maxpanda will timestamp that for your reports. Today, we're going to skip all this. We're just going to close it. So comment here, replaced O-ring, no more noise, good enough. And down here, we uploaded pictures or even a video that shows the pump is working beautifully now. Tasks, we completed the task, so we're able to complete the work order. Parts, we used 5 of everything that we took with us in the truck. And by the way, we do have bins. A bin could be a closet full of parts. It could be a shelving system in your warehouse. It could be a mobile inventory. And we keep minimum part notifications on the bin itself. And a bin can have one single part or like multiples of a single part or different type of parts in a bin. Maintenance staff, all of the staff worked various hours to help with the pump, 24/7. I don't know, only the individual has access to the tool time on the mobile and the desktop. Invoice, I'll add an invoice, but theoretically the vendor should have added an invoice. So here's a invoice for 409.50. So I'm going to add that to the invoice. So they added this, and they came up to Eric, and Eric, you digitally signed off on the invoice on their iPad. No pictures taken, and we still have the company attachments available. So theoretically, this work order should be orange now. It would have been completed by that staff or vendor. I will simply close it, instead of completing it, I'll just close it. I can put a note why I'm doing that. I won't. And those notes all get captured in the status history. And two things happened. Number one, the work order has disappeared. It is permanently stored and saved in the cloud under closed work orders. Everyone received an email and a push alert as well. Now, when work orders are completed or closed, Steve, the submitter, can rate the staff. So I could have rated any staff that have completed the work order. We have a 0 to 10 stars for rating. Any questions on that process at all, Eric?
No, I'm good so far. We're still going to get to the assets, the different kinds of assets, like our equipment. And then also another question was, when we start to work on, let's say, the pump, when the technicians actually switch the pump off to work on it, yeah. Does it record the downtime from when it's off until the job has been completed, so that we can get a report eventually of how long has the downtime been?
Yeah. So if right on the list view and on the mobile, we have asset downtime right here. So if I'm working on this asset here, it's a PM for this particular equipment. I can click on asset downtime, and it'll stop any other PMs occurring on it if I start it on this baseboard, and I can pause it and I can stop it. And all that is recorded at the asset level.
Okay, so it's a manual process. It's not automatic when the job starts and when it's completed or signed off.
No, because a PM is really, well, you're doing a PM on a monthly calendar base or a weekly base. So if you're doing a PM, it's not really down, is it?
I'm probably more referring to a service. Let's say you schedule a 250-hour service on a forklift.
Yeah.
It's scheduled for Friday, 9 o'clock, but you only get to it at around 10 o'clock. But it's been in operation the whole time. So only at 10 o'clock you pull it out of operation, and then when the job starts, the service starts, then the downtime clock starts. And then when you're done with the service, you put it back into operation. It's at 12 o'clock. So the downtime would only be those 2 hours, and not when it's from when it's been scheduled from 9 o'clock.
I understand. So that would be a trigger that you could set up in the PM system, and have the automatic downtime trigger, and then when the work order is completed, it would stop the downtime. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, that sounds
perfect. So yeah, we'll get to that in a minute, but this is the PM on the pump right now. So the PMs are, again, very simple to develop. Then you need a name, category, priority. Now I'm overriding my built-in priorities, the custom priorities, the due dates. I'm giving my staff 21 days to complete the work order. Every work order that this PM will generate, depending on the schedule. Carbon copy someone else. If you don't want to write up your PMs here with the notes and the private text, upload the file. So that file will be under attachments. So this PM will have the procedure diagram, the picture of the asset where it's installed, a safety checklist. These are items above and beyond that will appear in the PM work order, above and beyond what you saw earlier at the asset level. So now you tell the PM where it is. Again, it's at that station. That's the asset. Our work orders can have multiple assets or multiple locations. Obviously, there's the 3 parts. I don't need to assign them to the PM because they're automatically assigned to this asset with the warranty date. These 2 staff and these 2 vendors are automatically assigned to every work order. We do have staff rotation. That means if this is a monthly PM, Amber will be assigned to it in January, Max in February. So it'll alternate, right? And you can have as many as you want here. So January, February, March, April, June, July, August. If you don't select the checkbox, they're all assigned to every work order. That's your scheduler. I've got mine running on the first Monday of every 2 months. If you have a contract for a year with someone, you can go like that. That would 6 work orders in a year, or end date, at the end of this year to stop the PMs. Tasks, every work order will be assigned 5 different checklists for the user to complete, and they must complete them. And again, each one of these has unlimited amount of data to capture. We looked at attachments, and PM occurrences is every PM you develop, maxpanda will store every work order it generated for you. So even without generating a report, I can go back to April of 2015 and edit the work order that this PM generated. So you can see the history of it, who worked on it, what parts were changed, what costs, what vendor did we use, etc. Full history here, 304 work orders so far in this PM.
Just under tasks, You say there's 5 tasks only. Is it? Can you add more tasks than 5 or?
Oh, you can add as many as you want, but remember, each one of these tasks you develop 1 or 1,000 checklists to complete within the task.
Do you maybe have a checklist on one of those tasks?
Sorry?
So I can see how that. Do you have a checklist already done on one of those tasks that I can just see how that looks?
In a work order?
In one of these tasks.
Yeah, let me just open up. Where's the checklist? This one is completed, so let's go ahead. Open this one up right there. Tasks. I opened up the pump checklist before. Do you remember that one?
Just check.
Yeah. So these are
sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
There was the check boxes, any comments, the range value. When was this inspected? I did it on the 17th.
Okay. No, I'm all good then. Thanks.
Perfect. So we do have a shared template library for PMs. So you can I mentioned you can share your PM templates site-wide or to our community. So we break it up by division, division groups, et cetera. You're more than welcome to grab any one of these, like a oil boiler, full service, and simply attach it to your PM templates there. Okay, reports. We do have a KPI analytic dashboard that you can develop. You can add as many KPIs as you like. So I've got a whole bunch of bar charts, and I've got a pie chart. The data auto changes every week. This up here is permanent. It'll show you year to date what you're doing in work orders. So in December, I now have 18 overdue work orders, and I can hide those if I wanted to. Now, we break up your reporting tools. These are the built-in reports, not the API, in various categories like time and money, work order costs, asset costs, building costs, labor, and parts. So I'm going to run the SLA report. It's a very popular one. It deals with time and money because it's a service level agreements. Okay, so I want to see my costs for the last 2 months from November 1st till today. I will show you my header information, and I'm not going to filter anything out. I want to see all my work order costs, my PMs, and my meter costs. I want all status, all categories. I can preview this report right within the web browser right now. And again, only site admins and company admins and editors can run reports. So a couple benefits to our reporting module. Number one is you can preview it by customizing it. You can hide certain columns that you don't want to see. In 15 seconds, I can now print this 4-page report, save it to my desktop in various formats. Okay. Now, here's your work order that we worked on today, or mine, that I submitted. The pump is making noise. This is all about the time right here. And you'll notice we timestamp everything to the second. So when was the work order created by Steve? When did you approve it? The planned due date was 24 hours, 1 day. But Eric, you changed it to 7 days, but in reality, we completed it and closed it today, a day early. In the middle of the report is all of the what, who, where, when. And at the far end, you will have your total labor hours, your labor cost, your parts cost from those 15 parts we used, the vendor invoice, and the grand total of $16.58 today. If you like this report or you don't want to see like this information, you can hide it. Once you filter at what you like to see, you schedule it. We don't want you coming in here every day and running reports. You basically say, every month, I want this report sent to me in an Excel file. So it'll be stored under my reports, and it'll send you an email to download it as well. But you can also carbon copy, send an email to the Chief Finance Officer as well. If you don't want to preview it and you know these are the options you like, you can download it. And in that Excel file, these will be your filters. So you can filter this stuff out in your Excel. Maybe make a pie chart like in Excel or pivot table, whatever. you have any questions on the reporting tools?
No.
Awesome.
Good, thanks.
Okay, so you mentioned a couple things. You wanted to see assets. What exactly are you looking for in terms of the assets?
So on our straddle carriers, those machines that move the containers around, we have a lot of critical parts that's on the machine, and a lot of parts that have warranty applicable to them. So let's say you've got the main part of the equipment would be the straddle, but then you've got a few child assets to that. Let's say an engine, a drive pump, hydraulic motor, and they also have their own service intervals under the one main part asset.
Okay, so maxpanda is not parent-parent relationship in your database. Each asset is its individual asset.
Okay.
So that large asset you talked about, I don't know what you called it, forklift, but that would be the asset, and everything assigned to it would be under your part list. So the part itself has warranty information as well, like you mentioned. Is that what you're talking about? So you can assign parts to parts, or to assets, and assets to assets, or assets to parts, back to parts.
Okay. Yeah. No, that would work then. So assets to assets.
Yeah.
Would work.
Yeah. And the reports will have all the information, because you can have unlimited assets, right? So that big. But also under categories, we do have something called asset category, and that's another filter that you would be able to use. And you could categorize your major pieces of equipment that have multiple assets to assets, or parts to parts, parts to assets, under a specific category. It's just easier to filter and report on.
Okay. Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah. Next question.
That's a main issue we have, probably would be then the assets to assets, and then different service intervals for the assets in that assets. But that would be sorted if you can assign an asset or a part to another asset.
Yeah, and you would, and each asset would have its own PM, because you would obviously have a different interval. Now you spoke about the downtime manager. In our PM, we don't have that if a PM is triggered, or a meter is triggered on the asset, it doesn't have automatic downtime. Like it won't trigger the automatic downtime. It is a manual process, right? You want that to automatically put the asset to downtime, so no other work orders can be generated against it until that last work order was completed. Is that correct?
Yeah, but then also, let's say it's a breakdown, and so there's downtime on the equipment. Can you select what type of breakdown did occur? So whether it's engine failure or...
Well, I just, sorry, just to finish my thought process, I wanted to show you that we do have what you want. So do you remember that priority that I first selected? It was 7 days due date.
Yes.
So when you edit your priority list, we have something called auto trigger downtime on asset. So the trigger will not occur on that asset. It occurs on the meter. So this one here could be called downtime trigger on whatever asset, right? Tractors. So now this downtime, this new priority that I'm selecting when I create or assign to the PM, has a 7-day due date, but you can change it on the PM. And I'm selecting this one here. So now it will automatically trigger the downtime based because this priority was assigned to the PM or the work order for that asset. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure. So when you open the work order, or when you start with that work order, then the trigger gets activated, or?
Well, if you have a PM and it's every month, and the PM generates the work order and it has this priority on it, I've auto triggered the downtime, and that's exactly what you were looking for.
Yeah, but then that will be on a schedule. So let's say every month, the first Monday or so, it should go as downtime. But let's say you skip a day or two, it'll still trigger it as downtime. Would it not? It's not triggered on the start of the PM.
It'll trigger when the work order is created, depending from your PM, what your schedule is. So if it's the first of the month, it'll trigger downtime on January 1st. When you complete and close the work order, the downtime is taken off.
Okay. Yeah. So you just have to get that quite accurate on the planning side.
Well, another thing I'll show you something here on PMs. We have something called dynamic. I'm just going to open up a PM here under schedule. So you see this dynamic feature here? You set the days of when you want the next work order to trigger, depending on when the last one was completed. So this would be a buffer, like 3 days. So don't generate the next PM in January until 3 days after the last one was completed. So if you are late completing a work, 2 or 3 days completing December's PM, the next one won't trigger until up until 3 days after it was completed from the last work order. So, so having this in place with the other trigger, I think it'll work for you.
But what I'm actually just need a bit clarity on is, so we create the PM. It's on the technician's app. You can see, okay, I need to do this service on, let's say, tomorrow at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock comes and he can't get the machine. It's not available. But because it was scheduled as a PM, the downtime would already start, even though he couldn't get the machine down. Is there not a trigger that you can set, so when he actually scans the QR code on the machine to start the job, that the downtime gets?
No, unfortunately, what he can do is, instead of clicking scanning button, he would click asset downtime. That's it.
Okay.
So he can scan the QR code. The details will come up, and then he just puts it up to downtime when he wants. So we have the manual and we have the automated trigger. Okay,
I understand.
It's going to work either or for the different user, right? Like so we always need that manual process. Some people like, clicking this button after scanning the QR code. Others want that automatic trigger in the PM or in the priority. So, if it's a warranty issue, trigger the asset down. So
we just want to try and eliminate as much as possible the human factor. But it's also difficult in our line of work to have the machines as planned. So it's schedules are up and down each day.
Understood. But again, you have due dates, right? So you don't need to put 24-hour due dates. You can put 3 days or 5 days or 20 days to give people that cushion.
We just have to get into the habit of selecting the downtime button.
Right. And again, once you're using the application, or your staff are using the application, if there's optimizations required with maxpanda, first of all, we support everybody, even your vendors, for tech support. But everything we talked through today is in the support link here on the desktop and mobile. So, you know, how to set everything up, how to use the API. But under system updates, everyone can submit their ideas. So that goes to our blog. I'll show you. So every week we update maxpanda with features requested by customers. So right now, the last development in December, which is this is going live tomorrow night, is insured value for assets. So we're capturing insured value. We're allowing you to update by percent, you know, increase or decrease all of your assets, and that helps with life cycle planning. But as you can see, January all the way to the end of March already, we have tons of development. And these are items that customers are providing us, right, with ideas. So again, once you're using maxpanda and you think there's a way the feature could be optimized, we work with you and we develop it. And there's no cost to that. Because if it works good for you, Eric, it's going to work, you know, very well for, with other customers.
Cool.
Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
Excellent. Well, I'll send you that post thank you email again with and some more marketing material if you like. Plus, I'll add the free bump up in the email so we don't forget. When are you doing more webinars? Like, what's your time frame for setup?
I'd say beginning of next year. So let's say the next 2 weeks or so, we want to make a decision.
Perfect.
Yeah, so we have been looking at quite a few systems.
I know the way you're talking. I know.
Yeah, I've been through a few of the webinars, but your system is really, I would say, it looks very user friendly, but still there's a lot of detail that you can put on each PM and on the assets, which is quite great.
Okay.
I think the cost will also play quite a big role. It's not my call, so I'll just give all the info through. But yeah, no, thank you very much for your time.
How does the $4.99 a month compare to what you've seen out there?
I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna have to check that, but some of the others we were looking at was per user, so around about $45 per user per month. We've got a new workshop manager in our South African branch, and he's familiar with Asset Pool. I'm not sure if you know that one.
Which one?
Asset Pool.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah, I'm also not familiar with it. And then, which is the others? Fix is another one we were looking at from.
Yeah, they're from Toronto. I know them.
Yeah, so they're from Rockwell Automation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's one or two others, but I can't remember them. But yeah, we'll have to look at the costing also. But yeah, I enjoy the all the detail that you can put in on maxpanda, which is quite great. One thing that I couldn't find so far, but that I could find on yours was that trigger that you can set for the downtime, and also the checklist. Another thing is on our Madagascar and Mozambique and also South African staff, we try to do away with as much fancy technology as possible, so not to make it complex for the guys.
Right.
But it looks like we might have to go and get a smartphone for some of the technicians, just to make it more simple. And then another thing was languages. I didn't ask this question. Do you support French and Portuguese?
In our culture study right here, I'm using it as English US. Each individual can change it to other ones. We don't have Portuguese. We actually had Portuguese. We took it out, but we have Spanish, French, and South African culture settings.
Yeah.
So the culture, yeah. So if you wanted Portuguese, we'll add it back in here, and your users can use Portuguese. Let me ask you, why Portuguese and not Spanish?
Portuguese would be for Mozambique.
Okay.
Yeah, and the French for Madagascar.
Got it. Yeah.
So you say that is a possibility. You could.
These are just translated files that auto translate this. So we took it out off because our marketing is primarily South Africa, Australia, North South America, and England, right? That's our 99.9% of our user base. But we can add it. That's not a problem. We actually have Brazil.
Support, because you're in America now. So your support, you have 24/7 support?
Yes, we have 3 offices two in Canada, 1 in the US, and 1 in India. So the support is 24/7.
Okay.
After your team starts using the mobile, I guarantee after the first week, they'll never touch support. It's just super simple to use. And that's what we strive to keep things simple. I showed you a lot of information, right? But again, this info is based on the administrative level. You saw a submitter, like really it's typing up an email in a work order. That's all they're doing. So it's quite simple.
Okay. And then on the costing, the packages, you can upgrade and downgrade at any time.
Yes, you don't have to start at the pro. You guys can start at the starter plan if you wanted to. That'll give you 100 work orders. You can use it for one site. You can add all your sites because you've got 5 of them. And once you hit 100, the PMs and the submitting of work order gets frozen. This grays out. So you can either wait for your anniversary day in the month or you upgrade. So you can upgrade and downgrade at any time. There's no lock.
Okay. Yeah, and it's unlimited users. It's only capped on
data
work orders, really.
Yeah. Amazon charges us, so we charge our customers.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So again, you'll get the unlimited for this price. I'll put it in the email. If you have questions during your selection process, please email me right away. Again, once I confirm that you are set up on a free trial, I'll get the Portuguese language set up and we'll discuss any other functionalities that you require.
Okay, awesome. No, thank you very much, Steve.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, happy New Year and hope to talk to you in the new year.
Cool, awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Eric.
See you also. Hey.